Williams here, and today we are going to focus on another addition strategy. This one is called base 10. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at each problem and we are going to draw the base 10 blocks rather than actually using them. So let's get started. I am going to write an equation down. So 582 plus, let's see, how about 154? So you can see we have the hundreds place, the tens place, and the ones place. So I am just going to kind of draw a little mat here just so I can keep them separated and make sure that I don't get my places mixed up. This is just something I like to do. You do not have to do it. All right, let's take a look at our hundreds first. So we have 5 hundreds in that first number. So for my hundreds, I'm just going to represent them with the squares. Now, if you think of the real base 10 blocks, they are made up of 100 tiny little units. But we're just going to start with this one. Or we're just going to draw squares for this right now. Okay, so now let's look at the next one. So we have 8 tens. And so for that, I can just draw my 10 rods as straight lines. Now, again, if I were using the blocks, each of these is made up of 10 units. So let's see, I have 5, 6, 7, 8. You want to make sure you count carefully because one extra or one less will throw off your answer. Now the 2 is in the ones place. And so you can either do like a dot if that is quicker, or you could draw a little cube, whatever is easiest for you. So there is 582 represented with base 10 blocks, but I'm not done because I have to add 154 blocks on there. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go back and I'm going to represent 100. Then I'm going to look at the tens place and I have 5 tens. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to add 4 units or 4 ones. Okay, and I like drawing the squares. All right, so now I have all my blocks on the mat. But now what I need to do is I just need to figure out how many blocks there are, and that's going to be my answer. But I want to try to make it easier on myself, so I'm going to look and see if I can maybe carry some over. Sometimes people say carry them up, carry them over, and trade them in for some other blocks. So maybe trade in some ones for tens or tens for hundreds. And so here's what we're going to do. I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones. Okay. I have to have 10 before I can trade them up or carry them over. I have, let's now look at the tens. So we're looking right here at the tens place. I have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 tens. So I have 10 and I'm going to have some left over, but so I'm going to circle, hold on. I'm going to circle 8, 9, 10, and I'm going to push those over here, and I'm going to create one more 10 block. Now, don't forget that you can't count that in the tens place anymore because you traded it in. It's like when you are at the arcade and you put $1 in and you get 4 quarters out to go play your games. You traded that $1 in for those 4 quarters. Same thing here. We're trading those 10 blocks in for 100 block. So those 10 blocks don't exist anymore because now we have the 100 block. So now let's look at how many tens we have left, and we have 3. So that is represented by 30. 3 tens has a value of 30. And now we have the hundreds, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which has a value of 700. Now we're going to push it all back together. So 700 plus 30 plus 6 is 730 6. And that is how you represent addition using base 10 blocks that you are illustrating, that you're drawing. Now, you can use the manipulatives and you can get out a mat, get out all the base 10 blocks, and I highly suggest you do that before you do them on paper. But this, after you've become familiar with the manipulatives, this is a great way to represent it and to show your thinking. Let's try another one. So I'm going to just clear that screen right there. So let's go ahead and take 296 plus 158. Okay, so again, I'm just going to draw on my mat, and that's a personal preference. I just like to keep everything nice and organized. Okay. And you can see it's nothing perfect. It's just some lines. All right, let's take a look at the hundreds. So I have 2 hundreds right there. So I'm going to draw 1 and then 2. Now how many tens? Yep, that's 9 tens, which has a value of 90. All right, I was talking, so let's make sure I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 6 ones. Let's do dots this time so you can see that you can do dots or the little squares. All right, so there is 296 represented with base 10 blocks. Now let's take a look at the next number. So we are going to add on 100. How many tens are we going to add? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many 8s are we going to add on? 8. And so I'm going to do the dots, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now all of the numbers are represented through blocks on the map. Now we just have to put everything back together. But to make it easier on ourselves, let's see if we can trade anything up. So how many do I have in the ones place? And you always want to start in the ones and work your way left. So I have 14. So I am going to take the 8 and then 2 more and circle. And I'm going to trade those up for a 10. Now remember, you can't use that anymore. That does not count for your ones. So let's see, we have 4 ones left. Now let's look at the tens. Looks like we have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 tens. So we can circle 10 of them and trade them up, carry them over, and create another 100. Just don't forget, you can't use those anymore. So now it looks like we have 5 tens, which has a value of 50. And then we have 4 100 blocks, which has a value of 400. So if we put this back together, 400 plus 50 plus 4 equals 454. 454 is my answer, and I like to circle my answer so my teacher knows exactly what my answer is. They don't have to look around and try to guess. All right, so that is base 10 block. You always start with your first number, draw the blocks, then add on the blocks for that second number, and then look at what you have, trade anything up, carry anything over that you can, and then put it all back together for one answer. Hope this helped.